Hello everyone! So I was originally planning for this video to just be a simple Disney princess dress ranking, but I got a little carried away and I became obsessed with getting to the heart of what a Disney princess dress really is, what it means, and what it represents. As a doll designer, I am especially opinionated when it comes to girls' media, and the Disney princesses are no exception. So please come along for the ride as I get to the bottom of what makes a Disney princess dress. The Disney princesses are a lineup composed of heroines from Disney's most iconic movies. But you can't be just any girl to be a Disney princess. You need to be marketable, and you need to have the right type of fashion. Historians, me, believe that the idea of the dress came into being with Cinderella's iconic ball gown. This dress was more than just pretty. It was crafted out of magic by her fairy godmother, and it set Cindy up for her happily ever after. Because of this magical dress, Cinderella was able to go to the ball, where she met her true love and secured a better life. So, with all that history, I have come up with my definition of what a Disney princess dress is. The dress does not have to fulfill all of these criteria, but it should be the best option out of all of the princesses' looks. A Disney princess dress should be the dress that either secures her happily ever after or that she wears while obtaining her happily ever after. Bonus if it's associated with some kind of magical transformation. And lastly, it should look good. So now that we have that figured out, for the rest of the video, I will be looking over all the Disney princesses and deciding which dress I think should be their definitive dress. I will be drawing each princess in that agreed upon dress, and at the very end, I will be pitting these women against each other in a tier list to decide who has the best Disney drip. So let's find these girls their dresses.
Oh, how silly of me. I'm Snow White.
Okay, so first up we have Snow White. And oh my god, what a trendsetter. She not only created the trend of making full-length animated films, but she also saved the Disney company, set them on their historic track of animated movies, and of course, she was the first ever Disney princess. And I love her for it, but I don't just love her because of her place in animation history. I also love her optimistic personality, her singing voice, and most of all, her design. Snow White wears two dresses during the movie, but there is only really one option for this video. Snow White's blue and yellow collared dress is so iconic, and it is what she wears for the majority of the movie. But most importantly, it is what she wears when the prince kisses her and whisks her away to her happily ever after. And I love this look so much. While it references 1500s fashions, it is more inspired by the contemporary fashion of the 1930s. I feel like this is a big reason as to why Snow White is so striking, because of how dated she is. If she were designed any earlier or later, I don't think she would have ended up looking like this. And you may have noticed that I have only really been using images of Snow White from her original movie, and that is because this original design is the one that I think is perfect. But once Disney tried to market the princesses together, they modified Snow White's design to make her fit in better with her successors. And this resulted in them giving everyone a unified art style, which is a good idea, but they also messed with the characters' colors. They brightened Snow White's yellow and lightened her blue, and this lessens her impact greatly. The darkness of her bodice and hair contrasts with how pale her yellow skirt and skin are, and those dark colors and pops of red are all surrounding her face, drawing your eyes there. The new color makes her look more at home with the other girls, but it's at the expense of her memorability. But for my take, I brought her back to her original palette, and I think she just looks so gorgeous and stunning. She truly is the fairest of them all.
And that he will carry me away to his castle, where we will live happily ever after.
Yes, I know it's a lovely morning, but it was a lovely dream, too.
As stated earlier, Cinderella is essentially our blueprint for a Disney princess dress. While Snow White was the first Disney princess, Cinderella was the one who really perfected the formula. So it should be no surprise that the magical dress and glass slippers she wears to the ball is going to be what I draw for this video. I just love how magical this dress is. It was literally created out of thin air by her fairy godmother, and the way they animate it in the original movie just totally sells that idea. Unfortunately, Cinderella's dress was modified to fit into the Disney Princess brand. The biggest change is the color. It's a big misconception that Cinderella's movie ball gown is blue. Modern Girls has a really great video going into more depth about this, but when communicating darkness in animation, blue is often used. So in certain shots, Cinderella's dress appears blue because she's dancing at nighttime. But in more neutral lighting environments, it's a cool silver. But the Disney Princess brand decided to make her dress blue. This is probably a similar reasoning to Snow White. They wanted a brighter, more saturated palette to make her fit in with the more colorful girls. While I do think she looks really pretty in blue, before it looked like it was made of silver sparkles, but now it looks like a more achievable fabric. So once again, I went back to the original palette for my drawing of Cinderella.
Well, there's one thing. They can't order me to stop dreaming.
Didn't mean to frighten you.
Oh, it wasn't that. It's just that you're
A stranger?
Okay, so Aurora has two main looks that are hotly contested on the internet. There is a big conversation about whether or not Aurora's official dress should be blue or pink. And I think I have a rather interesting take on it. But let's start from the beginning. So in the movie, her fairy godmothers make her a dress for her birthday, with Flora and Merryweather fighting over which color it should be. Aurora eventually sees the dress in the middle of the fight when it's blue, and it remains blue for the majority of the movie until Aurora dances with Prince Philip and they fight again. Not Aurora and Philip, the fairy godmothers. Now, most people argue that since Aurora wears the blue version for longer in the movie, her dress should be blue for promotional materials. But as stated at the beginning of the video, I don't think that the dress a princess wears for most of the time in a movie should necessarily be their princess dress. If you actually watch the movie, the most Aurora is wearing the blue is before or during her sleeping spell. And once she wakes up and gets her happily ever after, that's when it starts to change back to pink. Blue is a color associated with sadness and sleepiness, and Aurora is devastated when it's revealed that she's betrothed to someone she doesn't know and then is cursed to sleep. Whereas pink is a much warmer and more lively color, often associated with blooming flowers. And after Aurora is woken up and finally learns she gets to marry the man she loves, it's like she's reborn. So I see Aurora's blue dress as representing her sleeping curse and the pink dress as representing her happily ever after. And what did I say earlier? A Disney princess dress is what they wear during their happily ever after. So yeah, the Disney Princess marketing team was right when they made her dress pink, and I think it is the superior color for Aurora. So that's what I'm drawing her in. I also think the pink just makes her pop more. Like, the pink they chose looks really good on Aurora.
Some stranger?
Oh, he's not a stranger.
We've met before.
But without my voice, how can I...
Ariel is a weird case. Ariel is most recognizable when she is a mermaid, but the whole point of Disney princesses is that they wear pretty dresses. And Ariel wears many pretty dresses in her movie, but none of them feel as true to Ariel as her mermaid form. So when the Disney Princess brand was made in the 2000s, they just picked the closest looking dress to the other girls, aka this pink look Ariel dons for dinner with Eric. The design of this dress is meant to emulate the princesses before her, and it wasn't made for her, it's just a dress Eric's staff has lying around. And the scene when she wears it is specifically meant to show how out of place she is. She brushes her hair with a fork and frees her dinner. So it doesn't really make sense for this to be her special dress when it's not tied to important character development, but a moment where she's actively failing to fit in. But there is a dress that perfectly fits my definition of a princess dress. It's what she wears near the end of the movie when she reunites with Eric on the beach. This dress is worn during a moment where Ariel is securing her happily ever after, and it's tied to a big transformation, aka her turning back into a human. There is one issue though, and that is that I don't like it very much. It just feels out of place to me, and I'm not a huge fan of the neckline. It also doesn't feel like Ariel to me. Like, I feel like this girl really enjoys a big poofy dress with massive sleeves, and this doesn't feature that at all. So, what are we gonna do? The only other dresses she wears in the movie are her village dress and her wedding dress. And while I do really like the wedding dress and I think it works really well as her happily ever after dress, I don't think Disney was too excited to make bridal Halloween costumes for children, which is totally fair. Luckily for me, in 2013, the Disney princesses rebranded. And while I don't agree with every choice this rebrand made, I will always love this era for the creation of the green dress. This dress came out of nowhere. It does not appear in any of the Little Mermaid movies. It was solely made by and for the Disney Princess brand. It's a similar silhouette to the princess dress, but in the color of Ariel's green tail, with the sleeves and extra skirt overlays matching the mint of her fins, and purple seashells to reference her mermaid bra. I think this works perfectly as Ariel's happily ever after dress, because she's finally reconciled her mermaid and human sides. She's no longer hiding her past from Eric, and her father supports her living on land, and it solves the problem of Ariel's mermaid form being her most iconic form by referencing it so heavily. I feel like I may get flack for this decision, which is fair, but I have to follow my heart, and my heart was telling me to draw Ariel in this dress. Okay, hi. Editor's note. So I finished editing most of this video, and then I went and I looked back at all of my drawings, and it just bothered me that Ariel's dress never appeared in the movie. I still agree with all the things I said about it being a good dress for her, but it doesn't appear in the movie, and I don't think that's fair. It was just getting on my nerves. So she's in her wedding dress now. I drew her in her wedding dress, so that's where she's gonna be that's what she's gonna be in. That's her princess dress.
He loves me. He loves me not. He loves me. I knew it.
Ah, Belle.
Good morning. I've come to return the book I borrowed.
So when deciding what dress should be Belle's Disney princess dress, it was really easy. There is honestly no competition. It's the yellow ball gown from the scene where she dances with the Beast. And if we go back to my definition of a Disney princess dress being their happily ever after dress, then this gown also passes with flying colors. It's the dress she wears when she dances with the Beast, and he lets her go to prove his love for her. Plus, she wears it in the ending scene when the Beast is human and they are enjoying their happily ever after. I don't really know what else to say about this dress that hasn't already been said. It's beautiful and stunning and magical. I love how the sparkles in the animation makes it feel less yellow and more like it's made of gold. And that color contrasts really well with her dark hair and complements the Beast's blue suit. I do think I struggled a bit with translating the extravagance of this dress into my illustration. Something about Belle was really difficult to draw. There was one point when her face looked absolutely whack. It was low-key giving me flashbacks to the Justin Bieber doll. But I think I was able to pull through in the end.
By the way, thank you for saving my life.
Father, I hate being forced into this. If I do marry, I want it to be for love.
Anyways, let's start out with Jasmine's current and most prevalent look, her turquoise two-piece. I think the big pants are really fun and an interesting silhouette, and they add some nice visual weight at the bottom of her design, which helps to balance out her big hair. But it's also kind of weird to me as her Disney princess look. The other girls wear their specialist dresses in the Disney princess lineup, but Jasmine's not wearing this to any fancy parties. This is just her lounging around the castle. That's like if Cinderella were in the Disney princess lineup when she's a maid, or Belle in her village outfit. It doesn't make sense as the big fancy dress. I think Disney realized this and tried to fluff up her turquoise outfit by adding more details and a sheer butt cape in 2013. And I think this actually looks really, really good. It makes her outfit feel more like it's on the same level as the other girls. But they didn't have to do this when there were already fancier outfits that Jasmine wore in the Aladdin movie. Before the creation of the Disney Princess brand, and even at the very start, a lot of Jasmine merch featured a purple outfit. You may think this is the dress Jasmine wears when Aladdin is supposed to be crowned Sultan, but there is also an outfit that Jasmine wears for a split second at the very end of the movie when she and Aladdin kiss and ride off into the night on their magic carpet. You can barely see this outfit because she's sitting and posed to the side and it's dark. And I think that this purple look is supposed to be like a combination of her finale fit and the coronation one. This design is really hard to track and it seems to change a lot over the years, but it seems like they couldn't nail down a design for it, so they just used Jasmine's default outfit. I think the purple outfit looks really good. Jasmine is more covered up and looks more extravagant, but I don't think it is doing anything inherently better than the fancier version of Jasmine's default look. However, I do think that this one is doing something better. This outfit, which appears for exactly insert number of seconds, and you can barely see, is doing something great. The blue/purple color looks stunning on her. It makes her pop so much more than any of the other colors, and the deeper color feels like a more intense and grown-up version of her turquoise. And on top of that, this is her happily ever after outfit. This is what she wears when she gets to live her best life with Aladdin. This is her triumphant moment, and therefore this should be her official Disney princess dress.
My handsome prince.
Sleep well, princess.
My name is Pocahontas.
Pocahontas is one of the only girls on this list who never changes her outfit throughout the movie. She does change her wardrobe during her sequel, but those outfits represented how European culture was suffocating her and forcing her to be something she's not. So pretty easy no to those dresses. As for Pocahontas's main look, I think it's fine. I'm not really familiar with traditional Native American clothing, but I wouldn't be surprised if it were more covered up in real life. I think the thing that I'm particularly confused by is the neckline. It doesn't make any sense for a dress held up with one shoulder strap to have a sweetheart neckline. Like, I'm just confused as to how this dress even works. But otherwise, I like the color scheme, although I don't think that the original tribes of the New England area had turquoise jewelry. I thought that turquoise was found in places closer to and inside Mexico, but I don't know.
You have the most unusual name, too.
I've got a name, and it's a boy's name, too.
So, unlike the other girlies, Mulan is not, nor is she ever, something even remotely similar to a princess. But even with that caveat, Mulan still has some pretty solid options for her princess dress. Firstly, the most common dress used to market Mulan in the Disney Princess lineup is the first dress she wears in the movie. It's a hanfu with green sleeves, a light yellow base, a blue sash, and a red belt. Now, don't get me wrong, I like this look. I think it fits Mulan well and it looks nice on her. But this is the dress that she wears at the very beginning, before she goes on her life-changing journey. I mean, she hasn't even cut her hair in many of the illustrations of this outfit. So it doesn't really make any sense as her happily ever after dress. The next dress they like to market Mulan in is her Reflections outfit. And can I just say, Mulan looks absolutely gorgeous. The pink and red contrast with her blue sash and accessories, and the stark white painted face makeup with red lips is just so stunning. Whenever Mulan is wearing this, I can't take my eyes off her. She looks so beautiful, and I love how close they got to representing traditional Chinese fashion. But as you can probably guess, this does not work story-wise. The outfit is actually the outfit Mulan feels the least like herself in. I mean, she literally sings a whole song about how her reflection is not representing her. So, as sad as it is for me, this is not a good choice for Mulan's official look. I personally think the best option for her is her final outfit. Here she's wearing a slightly different hanfu that has the primary color being blue instead of green or pink, and I like how this garment emphasizes her shoulders, giving her a more masculine silhouette while still being a rather feminine dress. And it even fits perfectly because this is the outfit Mulan is wearing when her identity is revealed. Mulan is no longer pretending to be the perfect daughter for her family, And she is no longer pretending to be a man in the army. Mulan is now herself, fighting and using her intelligence to save China. And it is the outfit that Mulan is praised by the emperor and finally accepted by her father. It is quite literally the outfit she gets her happily ever after in. I could understand if some people wanted to see Mulan in the outfit she wore in the army, but as stated earlier, she was pretending to be someone else at that point. She's low-key doing the same thing and trying to fit a role that isn't her, just like when she's in her Reflections outfit, and so I don't think it's a good choice for her. I think this finale dress is the perfect combination of her more masculine and feminine tendencies into one outfit.
I think I've been away from home long enough.
I gotta make sure all Daddy's hard work means something.
So if we were talking about the princess who is the most fashionable overall, Tiana would be number one, hands down. This woman is the definition of a style icon. Nearly every outfit she wears in this movie is fashionable and functional, and also clearly inspired by the 1920s, the decade which this movie takes place in. However, that is only if I were ranking all of her dresses. Her official dress is another story. I have a bone to pick with this dress, and that bone says that the ball gown covered in leaves and lily pads does not fit Tiana. Tiana is a hard-working woman, and in her movie, she is portrayed as very elegant and competent. Her ultimate dream is to open a beautiful restaurant with amazing dishes, and I don't think that a dress made of greenery from the swamp fits her personality. Does she spend the majority of the movie as a frog in the swamp? Yes. Does that mean it fits her character? No. Rihanna is too refined and put together to be covered in leaves. Also, Tiana's wardrobe is heavily inspired by the fashion of the Roaring '20s, so why would her big special dress be a ball gown style that was so out of fashion at that point? She deserves a dress that shows off her glamour and better reflects the trends of the '20s. Luckily, the movie gives us some other options. I am personally really attached to Tiana's fantasy sequence look. I mean, the sleek, shimmery dress with a fur stole and hair ripped right from Flapper magazines is exactly what we're looking for. And also, it just looks amazing on her. Like, this is hands down my favorite Tiana look. She is genuinely so stunning. However, for story reasons, this is not the best choice. Does it look absolutely amazing? Yes, oh my god, yes. But in the movie, this dress represents a false future. When Dr. Facilier is taunting Tiana with her dream, Tiana is in this look, and this represents Tiana getting what she wants while sacrificing her relationships and community. And Tiana overcomes this by refusing to accept Dr. Facilier's deal. So story-wise, this is not what Tiana should wear in her happily ever after. So let's try another one. What about the dress Tiana wears when she gets her restaurant the right way, which is this green getup she wears for her restaurant's opening? This fits the bill story-wise, but unfortunately, it doesn't feel quite princessy enough to me. It's just not extra enough to be her magical happy ending gown. So my last option is actually the dress Tiana wears when she transforms into a frog. The lily pad dress is the one she wears when she turns back human, but what if she just transformed back into the dress she had on when she first kissed Naveen? That would be this blue gown Tiana dons after getting a drink spilled on her original outfit at the costume party. Technically, it's one of Lottie's gowns, and it is also kind of fake because it tricks Naveen into thinking she's a princess when she's not, but I think it still works. At first, this dress may have not fit Tiana's origins, but after she marries Naveen, she becomes a princess, and so it would make sense for her to wear this princess getup. Also, this look is associated with a big transformation in the movie. But if I'm being honest, my biggest reason for arguing for this is that it looks amazing on Tiana. The drop waist is an amazing reference to the popular dresses of the '20s, and the sparkles, opera gloves, and crown feel like a perfect fit for a Disney princess look. While Tiana is mainly associated with green because of the whole frog thing, I think that blue could represent the water of the swamp without being too on the nose. Overall, I just love this look. While the fantasy dress is my personal favorite, this blue one just fits the best thematically. I think the reason they didn't go with it is because of Cinderella's primary look being a blue gown with opera gloves, but the sacrifice was nerfing Tiana. I feel like most people overlook Tiana in the Disney Princess lineup, and I do believe it is because they chose one of the worst outfits to market her in.
With your help, our dream is finally coming true.
I have magic hair that glows when I sing.
Okay, so when it comes to Rapunzel, I think the first thing we have to do is address the elephant in the room. And by elephant in the room, I mean the little pixie in the corner who won't shut up about the fact that it doesn't make sense for Rapunzel to always be shown with her long blonde hair, because at the end of the movie, Eugene cut it to make her look like Alice from Twilight. And as annoying as this take is to me, it's also true. So let's discuss it. Yes, at the end of the movie, during a big climactic scene, Rapunzel's hair is cut and turns brown. This is a very pivotal moment for the character, and it's actually a beautiful representation of Rapunzel being freed of her abuser by taking away the thing that Mother Gothel kidnapped and used her for. But it's also tragic because by taking away that gift that kept Rapunzel trapped, Eugene is also taking away the very thing that could save him from dying. It's an amazing moment, and it makes me emotional just thinking about it, and this even fits my criteria perfectly. The pixie cut is associated with a big transformation, and it's what Rapunzel looks like when she finally gets her happily ever after. But with all that being said, we are kind of forgetting the goal of the Disney Princess brand. The line is meant to sell the magic of Disney, and a brown pixie cut does not feel as magical as endless glowing hair that heals people when she sings. And if we're being honest, when most people think of Rapunzel, they picture this version, not Alice from Twilight. And that's honestly just because what made the original fairy tale so timeless and appealing is the fact that the main character has the longest hair in existence, to the point that people regularly climb on it just for shits and giggles. But even after defending Disney's choice to market Rapunzel with this hair, I still actually think there is a better choice, another hairstyle that keeps the recognizability of her long golden locks while also representing a big change in Rapunzel's journey. And I am, of course, talking about the braid. Not only does this look absolutely gorgeous, but it also represents a newer Rapunzel. At the beginning of the movie, Rapunzel is naive, she's been stuck in a tower for 18 years and she doesn't know anything about the real world. And then on top of that, she has this long, unruly hair that's difficult to travel with, so she and Eugene are always just rolling it up and hauling it around. I mean, you even see this problem in Disney Princess illustrations, where they draw Rapunzel and then they just have to add this path of hair just lying around her feet. But when Rapunzel gets the braid, it's kind of like her adapting to the real world and finding a more practical way to handle her hair. And she also gets the braid during the montage of her bonding with the people of Corona, her people whom she finds community in. And then my favorite moment of the movie, when the thing we've been building up to finally happens. All her life, Rapunzel has wanted to see the lanterns. I mean, it's the reason she ever left the tower. And then, when it's about to happen, she's scared, because once she fulfills her lifelong dream, what is there afterwards? And then she sees them, and a few minutes in, she's not even looking at them anymore, because now she's found a new dream, Eugene. I love this movie, and I love Rapunzel, and I hope that I have thoroughly convinced you that braided hair Rapunzel is best Rapunzel.
Dreaming about what I might feel like when those lights rise in the sky.
Sorry, I don't speak bear.
So Merida is the only Disney princess that isn't even made by Disney. She was added to the lineup when Disney bought Pixar. And when it comes to Merida, I think her hair is the most iconic thing about her. That mane of bright red curls is just so beautiful and majestic. And since she only really wears 2 dresses in the film and one of them hides her hair, it's a pretty simple choice. So I drew Merida in her main dark blue outfit, and I did draw her with her bow, since she loves that thing and is never seen without it.
Mom, you're back!
I am Moana of Motului.
Moana technically has 3 looks in her original movie: the outfit she wears when she's about to become chief, what she wears during the ending scene, and then her main outfit. I think the choice is pretty clear, it's her main outfit. Her chief outfit looks really cool, but Moana doesn't necessarily want to be chief, she wants to be a voyager. And then in the end, she wears a new outfit when her and her tribe all become voyagers, but I just don't like it as much as her main outfit. I really think this design is just too good to not be her Disney princess dress. And it works in the context of the story. This is what Moana is wearing when she goes on her journey to save the ocean, and importantly, this is what she's wearing when she saves everyone and restores Te Fiti's heart. So it seems like a no-brainer to me. However, Moana does not just have one movie. In fact, she is the first ever Disney princess to have a second movie released in theaters. So snaps to her. I have not seen the movie yet, but I am aware that Girly gets a new outfit. Maybe I would change my mind if I saw the movie, but I like her original look better. I just think that the brighter red adds a lot of vibrance and life, and it looks really good against the blue of her necklace. But for the second movie, they desaturated the red and made it a little darker. I don't think it looks bad. It's still nice, but I prefer the original so much more. And I do think that drawing it did make me appreciate it more than I did when I first saw the Moana movie. But now I'm kind of a ride or die for this fit.
That is literally the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
Raya, I'm Raya.
So if y'all are not aware, Raya from Raya and the Last Dragon is an official Disney princess. This is very confusing to most people because Raya and her movie are not very popular. I don't have an issue with Raya herself, but I did not like the movie, and I especially did not like the other characters in it. I think Raya is really cool, and I love her big hat, but she just doesn't feel like a Disney princess to me. There are other princesses who aren't traditionally feminine, but I think I take more of an issue with Raya's design because traditional Indonesian dress is so beautiful. And I like Raya's main outfit, but the fact that we were robbed of having a scene where she wore one of these beautiful headdresses just really stings. Like it genuinely pains me. But again, Raya herself is fine. I will always love a big hat, even though it was kind of annoying to draw.
Then let me take the first step.
Hello everyone. Welcome to the section of the video where I'm going to be judging women and pitting them against each other. I've made a tier list. Oh wait, I have to name the tiers. Give me a second, let me do that. Okay, I named the tiers, so now we can start. Okay, so at the very top, we have Fit for a Queen. This is like, you are not just a princess, you are a queen, you are serving. This is for the best of the best. This is for my favorite girlies, my favorite dresses. You're gonna go up here if you're a queen. Okay, next we have Fit for a Princess. This is, you are hitting all the marks, you are doing your job. It's like you're doing everything right, but you're not doing anything over the top to the point where I love you enough to be a queen. That's what a princess is. Next, we have Lady in Waiting. So Lady in Waiting is like, okay. It's like, okay, you're doing good because ladies in waiting, they're still dressed nice, but they're never going to be dressed above what the queen is or the princess is wearing. So it's like your dress is nice, you look nice, but you're not going to outshine any of the other girls around you because there are people above you doing better. Next, we have Maid. Okay. If you're a maid, your dress is kind of plain, it's a little boring, but it's still a dress. It's still nice and clean because you have to look presentable to, any guests or to the man or woman of the house. You still have to look presentable. So you look nice, but your dress isn't going to be very great. It's not going to be anything outstanding. It's probably going to be a little boring. It's going to be a little boring to look at. And then we have Peasant. Peasant is for the disappointments. Is this tier list or this naming convention classist? Probably. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about dresses. So let's get on with it. Okay. Okay, first up we have Snow White. Let me just put her up there. Sorry, I love Snow White. I'm obsessed with this look. I'm obsessed with it. I've already gushed about it before. I love Snow White. I love the color palette so much. She's so beautiful. She's my favorite princess. Ooh. Sorry, she's my favorite princess. I can't get over it. She's just so stunning. Another thing I love about Snow White so much is how she's drawn. Like she's she's given the face of like a cherub, of like an angel. Like it's so soft and childlike because she's a child. She's like 14 or something. And I also like how they made her body like more proportional and how she doesn't have like a super tiny waist. Like I love that realistic body type. And she's also got a flatter chest. I don't know. I just love how different she is from the original princesses. And I think it's because they didn't have the princesses like they didn't have a whole idea for a lineup in mind when they were making Snow White. They just wanted to make Snow White because she was the first. And then after her and like Cinderella, it spawned into this whole thing. And that's when they kind of made the girls kind of have this similar body type and similar feel to them. But Snow White was before that. And so she stands out because of that. And I love her so much. And she's my favorite. And she's so beautiful. And I love her so much. This tier list is 100% biased. Just so you know. I'm judging the dresses, but I'm also low-key judging the girls. Like, it's gonna be biased. And Snow White is going to be number one. Spoiler alert, she's gonna stay up here the whole time. Okay, next we have Cinderella. Cinderella, for me, Cinderella's fit for a princess. Okay, Cinderella has like the perfect dress. She has the perfect princess dress, the perfect hairstyle. She's perfectly elegant. She has magical slippers, but it's not my perfect dress. It's perfect for the Disney princess lineup, but it's not for me. It's like, I think she's doing great. She's doing a 10 out of 10, no notes, but it's not to my taste. It's not to my exact taste. My taste is Snow White. I eat her up. Like she ate up that apple. So yeah, I like Cindy. I think she's pretty. I do think when she's drawn, especially when she's drawn in her blue version and not her silver version, she's a little boring. She comes off a little boring and a little one note. And so I'm like, she's doing great though. She's doing great. She's in fit for a princess. She's doing a good job. She's just not to my taste. Okay, next we have Aurora. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the Aurora fans. I feel like she's good. She does the job. I'm just not her. I don't know, man. It's just like, we already have one blue-eyed, blonde-haired princess. Like, did we really need another one right after that? Like, I feel like Aurora has to do a little bit more to stand out than Cinderella, because it kind of just feels like we're redoing Cinderella, but in a less good way. I don't dislike Aurora. I don't dislike her, and I really like I said, I really like the pink color. If she was in blue, she would be in Maid. I'm sorry. Will say one thing that I can give to Aurora is that I love how pointy her face is. Like, her jaw is like so intense for no reason, for absolutely no reason, and I will always appreciate her for that. I won't appreciate her for her dress, but I will appreciate her for her face card. Next we have Ariel. She's going to fit for a princess. I did switch Ariel's dress from the green one that I drew to the wedding dress. And I did that because, like I said, it really bothered me that she wasn't in a dress from her movie, because all of these girls, every single one of these girls is wearing a dress from their movie. And so I did just want to take the time here to kind of explain why I chose the wedding dress to be her like princess dress, because I thought out of all of the dresses in the movie, it was the best option, because this is when she gets her happily ever after. This is what she's wearing when she gets married, but it's what she wears when Trident comes and he brings all the mermaids together and they like resolve their issues. So it's like a similar thing that I said with the green dress, where that is like a combination of her human and mermaid form. This is the dress that she's technically wearing when the mermaids and the humans, like, the conflict ends and they're cool. So that's why I chose this dress. I also chose this dress because the pink dress is iconic, and the pink dress has the silhouette of the big poofy sleeves. And I really wanted to make sure that she had her poofy sleeves, because Ariel is an extra girl and she deserves that. So that is Ariel. Next up, we have Belle. Belle is, I think I'm going to put her up here. Belle is kind of similar to Cinderella. I don't know, they just feel similar to me. It kind of feels like a color palette swap where it's like, oh, let's take Cinderella, let's change her hair a little bit, let's leave a piece out, and then let's make her hair brown, we'll make her eyes hazel, and then we'll give her a gold dress instead of silver. Like, that's how it feels. They feel like the inverse of each other. And so because of that, I have similar feelings to Cinderella, where I think it's a 10 out of 10. It's a beautiful, perfect dress. It does everything it needs to do in the movie and in the franchise, but it's not my favorite. It's not my favorite. These two are not my favorite. I think they're doing a great job. They're just not going to be my favorite, and they're never going to be my favorite. And that's okay. Okay, next up we have Jasmine. Ready for me to be biased again? I'm being biased. Okay. Jasmine is my second favorite princess. She's my second favorite princess, and Aladdin's my favorite prince. And he has great taste because he fell in love with Jasmine. Like, what a woman to fall in love with. Or sorry, she's 16. What a girl. She's a girl. I'm so sorry. She's a child. But yeah, I love Jasmine. I love her personality. I think she's great. I love her hair. I love how big her hair is, and I love her big pants. There is a thing about her movie with it being like very inaccurate to the cultures that it was based on. Because Jasmine, I'm pretty sure, is supposed to be Arab, and she's not wearing traditionally Arab inspired things. And while the other girls are not wearing traditionally like exactly what they were wearing historically, they're a lot closer to it than Jasmine is. And the issue with that is that Jasmine's movie is so good that it makes us forget about the inaccuracies. And I fall into that too because I love Jasmine so much as a character and I love that movie so much. But I think we just do have to remember when we see her that this is not accurate. This is not accurate Arab culture. And so I think it's important to just keep that in mind. She is still going to be in Fit for a Queen because I love her so much. And I do really like this outfit that I gave her. I especially love how it's more covered up. And I think the long sleeves make her more elegant. And then, of course, she's got like the little, what is that called? Sash? The thing you drape around your arms? I don't know I forgot what it was called. Whatever. Jasmine's doing great. She's doing amazing. We just got to remember that little caveat. Okay, next we have Pocahontas. And Pocahontas is like the opposite of Jasmine, where, well, still very inaccurate to the time period. Her movie is not good enough to overcome that. Her movie is not good enough to overcome it, unfortunately. And the dress isn't helping. The dress, again, in my opinion, it's fine. I think it's a little too much skin. I don't know. Pocahontas is just like whatever for me. Like, I never really think about her and I always forget about her. And so she's just going to be in Maid. She's just going to be there. Next up, we have Mulan. Mulan is going into Fit for a Princess. I think this is a great outfit. I think she looks amazing. I think it's perfect for her character. But again, it's not to my taste because my taste is her Reflections outfit. My taste is glamorous and beautiful and over the top and stunning, and that is Reflections. And this is not giving that. This is giving a little more stripped back, but that's because that's what Mulan's character is. But if she was in her Reflections outfit, she would be going in Fit for a Queen. This fit, however, is just for a princess. Next, we have Tiana. Tiana is Fit for a Princess. I really love this outfit. I think she looks great. I think I actually prefer it more than Belle's, but I'm going to keep it down here just because this outfit is not as like iconic and memorable as Belle's dress, so I'm gonna keep her here. But Tiana is probably the princess that I relate to the most because she still feels like she has to work super hard in order to achieve everything and make a better life for her and her family. And I relate to that a lot, and I really love Tiana, and I really love this dress, and I love the drop waist so much. But it's a similar thing to Mulan, where if she was in her fantasy white dress with that 1920s flapper hair, she might actually be in front of Snow White. Like, she might be at the tippy top, but she's not. So she's not going to outpace Snow White, but just know that if she was wearing that, even though it doesn't fit her character, if she was wearing that, she would outshine all of these girls. They would all be dead. They would all die. She would murder them all. Next, we have Rapunzel. Rapunzel is not my favorite princess, but she is my favorite princess movie. Something I do want to point out about Rapunzel is that she was the first CGI animated or 3D animated movie. So she was the first 3D princess. And honestly, I think she did a great job. Like, she did an amazing job. My only issue or critique with her isn't really about her dress. It's more about the fact that her head is just way too big. I much prefer the more proportional looking princesses with smaller heads. Like, they're still cartoonized and exaggerated somewhat, but they're not to the point where it's like a bobblehead on a normal human woman's body. And that's kind of what Rapunzel gives. And so while I do really like Rapunzel and her movie, sometimes when I'm watching it, I'm taken out of it just because I remember how insanely big her head is. But for her, let's talk about her dress. For her dress, I think she goes in fit for a princess. I really like this dress. It is kind of giving like made for Halloween costumes, but I'm not against that. I'm not against that. In fact, I actually really like it. That I up there in front of Ariel. I actually really like it. Was it probably made primarily to sell toys? Yes, but I'm a toy designer. I don't know what to tell you. I like that. I like it. Rapunzel's going in fit for a princess. Okay, now Merida. As for Merida, she's going into maid. I do really like my drawing of Merida, and I especially love her hair. I just really like curly hair in general. I think it's really beautiful, but her outfit is not, it's just not giving as much as it could. I think I drew it really pretty, but it's a little more bland in the movie. So she's going in maid. It's difficult to compete with these girls. It's difficult to compete with such bright colors when you're in like neutrals. Like that's what's going to get you down here. So that's where Merida's going. Okay, Moana. I just gave it away. I just put her straight to the top. I gave it away. Yeah, she's going in fit for a queen. I actually think this is probably like, I don't know, man. I just really love it. I think that her outfit has the spice to bring it over the top. I love the color scheme. I love how it still has the neutrals that like Pocahontas has because, you know, it's made from the land, but they still brought in those bright colors in her necklace and in her top. And I especially love the little detailing on her skirt and all the patterns of Polynesian culture. Like, it's just so beautiful. I think she did such a great job. Again, I love curly hair. And she's my sister's favorite princess. So, again, I'm biased. She's in fit for a queen because I really like this outfit. And lastly, we have Miss Raya. Most people don't know that you're a Disney princess, and I only recently found out for this video. And for this video, I was low-key dreading drawing you the whole time. And because of that, you're going into peasant. Okay, this is my finished tier list. Here it is. It's very top heavy. There's a lot of girls at the top, but that's a good thing. That means that most of these girls are doing a very good job at being a princess, and then we only have a few stragglers, but that's okay. You got to balance out the lineup. Not everybody can be a queen. We're going to have a few princesses, a few ladies in waitings, a few maids, and maybe even a peasant or two. But yeah, that's the finished tier list. Thank you so much for watching. I don't feel like doing an outro, so I'm just going to say bye. I will see you for the next video. Don't know what it's going to be exactly, but I'll see you at some point in the future. Bye.